The storm outside the tall glass windows seemed to echo the chaos inside her heart. Amelia stood frozen, her hand resting on the swell of her belly, while the man she had trusted above all others, the man she had given her soul to, signed the divorce papers without hesitation. The sound of the pen scratching against the paper felt louder than thunder. Her husband, Adrian Blackwell, the charismatic CEO admired by millions, didn't even meet her eyes. Instead, his gaze lingered on the sleek young intern who stood by the door, her smile almost triumphant. In that moment, Amelia felt the world collapse beneath her feet. The life she had dreamed of, the family she thought she had built, was being torn away as carelessly as someone flipping a page in a book. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and that no betrayal should ever dim the light of a strong soul, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel Royal Stories. Your support helps us bring more inspiring tales that remind us of the strength within every broken heart. Amelia left that penthouse office without looking back. She carried more than just her unborn child, she carried the weight of humiliation, heartbreak, and betrayal. The world only saw her as the discarded wife of a powerful CEO, but the truth ran deeper than anyone could imagine. For Amelia was no ordinary woman, and her silence hid a secret that could shake entire industries. She was the sole heiress of a global shipping empire, a dynasty that stretched across oceans and continents. But she had never told Adrian. She wanted to be loved for who she was, not for the fortune she carried in her name. And now, as she stood in the rain, her designer dress clinging to her like armor stripped bare, she realized that his betrayal was also her awakening. The days that followed were dark. Amelia retreated to the quiet estate her late father had left her, far from the glittering city lights that once defined her life. She spent nights alone, her hands wrapped around her belly, whispering promises to the little life inside her. She vowed her child would never feel abandoned or unwanted. There were moments of weakness, where tears stained her pillows, where anger burned hotter than the fires of hell, and where doubt whispered that perhaps Adrian was right to choose another. But then she would walk through the grand halls of her estate, where portraits of her family's legacy stared down at her, reminding her that she was not a woman to be discarded. She was a Leone, blood of steel, heart of fire, soul of oceans. Adrian's new life with the intern unfolded in the media like a spectacle. Headlines praised their fresh love, magazines gossiped about Amelia's absence, and business reporters speculated about the CEO's growing empire. But behind those headlines, Adrian was drowning. The intern, once sweet and supportive, revealed her true face, a woman hungry for power, envious of everything Amelia had once been. Adrian found himself trapped in a web of manipulation, his empire slowly corroding from within. Yet his pride blinded him, and he never admitted the hollow ache that grew every time he thought of Amelia's steady gaze and the softness of her touch. Meanwhile, Amelia rose from the ashes of heartbreak. She began taking control of her family's empire, something she had avoided for years. With sharp wit and unshakable resolve, she sat at boardroom tables where men twice her age doubted her. They underestimated her, seeing only a broken wife, but soon realized they were in the presence of a woman who carried the wisdom of her father and the courage of her own scars. Every deal she struck, every barrier she broke, was fueled by the promise she had made to her child. She would build a kingdom where betrayal could never reach them. The suspense tightened when whispers reached Adrian's ears. Rumors of a mysterious shipping heiress dominating global trade unsettled his boardroom. Contracts he relied upon began slipping through his fingers, and competitors whispered the name, Amelia Leone. The shock hit him like a tidal wave. His ex-wife, the woman he had tossed aside as weak and unworthy, was standing taller than ever, her empire eclipsing his. He realized too late the magnitude of his mistake. When Amelia finally reappeared in the city, she was no longer the fragile wife he remembered. She was radiant, dressed in power and grace, her presence commanding respect in every room. The media went into a frenzy, uncovering her true identity, dubbing her the Ocean Heiress. Cameras captured the moment she stepped onto a red carpet, her child in her arms, her smile unshaken. It wasn't revenge she carried, it was renewal, a story of loss transformed into triumph. Adrian's empire faltered as Amelia's flourished. Investors he once controlled turned their eyes to her. Partners who abandoned her returned, begging for her favor. And while Adrian sought forgiveness, Amelia had nothing left to give him. She had already forgiven herself, already healed the parts of her heart he had shattered. She was no longer fighting to prove her worth to him, she was living to honor herself and the child who gave her strength. In the final scene of their intertwined destinies, Adrian watched from afar as Amelia stood on the deck of a massive shipping vessel christened in her child's name. The sun set behind her, casting her in golden light as waves crashed against steel hulls, symbols of her unbreakable legacy. For the first time, Adrian saw her as she truly was, not his discarded wife, not the woman he betrayed, but a queen who had reclaimed her throne. And as Amelia whispered to her child, promising them a future where love would never be questioned, the world stood in awe of the heiress who turned heartbreak into history. She had lost a husband but gained an empire, and in her journey, she taught every broken heart that no betrayal can define you, only your strength to rise again can. If this story touched your heart, please support us by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to Royal Stories. Your engagement helps us continue to bring stories of resilience, love, and second chances that remind us of the courage within us all. Sparkle's special request. Comment below, do you believe betrayal can sometimes be the beginning?